On March 26, 2024, at 1:27 a.m., the main spans of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in the Baltimore metropolitan area of Maryland, United States, collapsed after the container ship Dali struck one of its support pillars. Baltimore City Fire Department officials said that at least 7 vehicles fell into the water, 2 people were recovered from the river, 1 declined medical treatment, while the other was transported to a hospital in critical condition. At least 6 people, part of a construction crew working on the bridge, are believed to be missing, and 1 body has been recovered. The Francis Scott Key Bridge, originally the outer harbor crossing, was a steel-arched, shaped continuous through truss bridge. It opened in 1977 and spanned the catastrophic River, a vital shipping route in the Port of Baltimore. The shipping route is one of the busiest in the United States. It handled more than 444,000 passengers as well as 52.3 million tons of foreign cargo valued at $80 billion in 2023. The bridge was also part of Interstate 695, a beltway around Baltimore. The bridge was 1.6 miles long and carried 4 lanes, 2 in each direction. Approximately 34,000 vehicles used the bridge each day. Dali is a container ship built in 2015 with a length of 980 feet, a 157-foot beam, and a 40-foot draught. In 2016, it struck its berth in the port of Antwerp and required repair, although there were no injuries. Registered in Singapore and owned by a Greek shipping company, Dali had previously traveled from Panama to the United States, arriving in New York on March 19th of 2024 before arriving in Baltimore on March 23rd. The vessel had been chartered by Maersk since its delivery in early 2015. The 22 members of the ship's crew on board were Indian nationals, and the ship was being piloted by 2 local maritime pilots. The main shipping channel under the bridge was estimated to be 50 feet deep, while National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration charts show the depth of the bridge supports to be approximately 30 feet deep, and the water temperature was 47 degrees Fahrenheit at the time of the collapse. Dali left the port of Baltimore at 44 seconds after midnight on March 26 of 2024, bound for Colombo, Sri Lanka. Shortly afterwards, the crew notified the Maryland Department of Transportation that they had lost control of the vessel and a collision with the bridge was possible, citing a loss of propulsion. A mayday was issued and traffic was stopped from crossing the bridge. The ship's lights were seen to go out and then come back on again moments later, just prior to the collision. Smoke was also seen coming from Dali's funnel in the lead up to the collision. The ship also dropped its anchors as part of its emergency procedures. At 1:27 a.m., the ship struck the support column of the bridge at a speed of 8 knots or 15 kilometers per hour. The bridge strike and partial collapse were recorded on video. AIS data shows the ship traveled at a speed of 8.7 knots or 16.1 kilometers per hour. At approximately 1:25 before departing the channel and slowing to 6.8 knots by the time of collision almost 2 minutes later. The bridge broke apart in several pieces, leaving sections of it protruding from the water, and the roadway's approaches cut off. Where spans began, Dali caught fire, and a section of the bridge came to rest on the tip of its bow. A Baltimore City Fire Department spokesperson said vehicles were on the bridge at the time it collapsed, including one that was the size of a tractor-trailer. A Maryland Transportation Authority representative on the scene told rescuers that at least 20 workers were repairing potholes on the bridge at the time of the collapse. Paul Weedfield, the Maryland Secretary of Transportation, said that there were contractors undertaking concrete deck repair on the bridge at the time of the collapse. A resident living near the bridge recalled being awakened by deep rumbling that shook his residence for several seconds before the collapse, which he also felt like an earthquake. Emergency teams began receiving 911 calls at 1:30 a.m. The Baltimore Police Department was alerted to the collapse at 1:35 a.m. Large-scale rescue and recovery efforts were initiated. The U.S. Coast Guard deployed boats and a helicopter as part of rescue efforts. Rescue divers were also dispatched to search for people who fell into the river. A total of 50 divers divided into 8 teams were deployed in rescue efforts. The collision of Dali with the southern main pillars is believed to have brought down the entire truss span. which saw pillars being destroyed by its impact. Furthermore, as a continuous truss bridge that relies on its overall structure to maintain integrity. When the south and central spans collapsed, the northern component, the third span, soon followed. Each failure sequence took seconds, and within 30 seconds, the entirety of the central span had fallen into the river. At the press conference at 6:30 a.m., Baltimore Fire Chief James Wallace said that at least 2 people were rescued from the river, one of whom was very serious condition, while the other person has walked off with no injuries. At least 6 people, all part of the construction crew working on the bridge, were reported missing, and 1 body had been recovered. Wallace also said that sonar had detected submerged vehicles in the river, adding that emergency services were also using drones and infrared technology in search efforts. At around 10:55 a.m., Wallace confirmed that 5 vehicles in the river bed had been marked using infrared and side scan sonar technology. Synergy Marine Group, which operates Dali, said that the ship's crew, including its 2 pilots, had been accounted for and did not sustain any injuries, adding that there was no pollution following the incident. May those who lost their lives rest in peace. May those who have been injured by this get well very quickly. And may things get back to normal very quickly. May they clean up the debris with no further injuries. And may things get back to normal. And may a new bridge be placed swiftly and structurally sound. As always, continue with the history and film. Subscribe to the channel for more. Catch you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.